Hi everyone. Today we are going to discuss about one of the interesting topic. What will happen if we type www.google.com? What is happening behind the scene? So this is we are going to discuss. So I prepared one flow chart, and this flow chart is not that much good, but we have to adjust on that. So what's happening behind the scene? If in the browser we are typing www.google.com, first the browser is checking in its cache file whether that particular URL is visited or not. And if it's not visited, then what's happening? Browser asks our operating system, "Hey, do you know this URL?" Then what OS will do? OS will check in its host files whether that particular URL is visited or not. And if it's not visited, then OS will tell browser, wait, I will check. Then OS will make a DNS request to the ISP. And what's this ISP? ISP basically is an internet service provider. So, sorry. So this ISP will also check its cache file, whether that particular URL is visited or not. Now, if it's not visited, then ISP asks the root server. ISP asks the root server to check in the top level TLD. So in TLD is basically like we are typing www.google.com. So .com, this .com, .net, everything is basically a TLD, top level domain. So these are the top level domain. So what will this root server do? It will ask the TLD whether do you know this particular URL or not. So what TLD do? TLD also check its cache file whether that particular URL is visited or not. And if it's not visited, then what TLD do? Every every TLD it will have at least one of the authoritative name servers associated with that URL. So whatever the URL we have .com something like that. So every authoritative name server associated with that URL, and after going to the that URL, this URL it will be there in the internet. Somewhere will be there. So it will TLD will go to that name server, and it will return the IP. It will take the IP and it will return the IP to the OS. So all of this happening in milliseconds. That's the beauty of internet. And we are simply typing many URLs, www.com, something, 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 and these are the things happening behind these things. And it's not completed yet. So what happened? This TLD provided the IP to the OS system. Now OS gives this IP address to the browser. Now what's happening now? What's happening? This this browser makes a GET request. Like I have the address and this is the IP address. So he makes a get re- he makes a get request. Okay. So he makes a get request. Why he is making get request? Because he has the IP address. But what are the features? What are the properties? What are the HTML CSS things? What are the JavaScript things? He does not have those things now. So he so he asks that particular IP address eh, by making a GET request. And meanwhile, he also asks OS. He also make a request to the OS for the like OS to make sure the firewall like many things are there na. So OS will provide the TCP protocols. So another arrow will be there. So he at the same time when it's taking the request. It also at the same time when browser making a GET request, at the same time OS also sending the TCP to a traffic protocol to the I said IP address. So on its way, all the things are checked by the OS. All these things are checked by the OS. Like there will be no security violations and all. All the things are taken care by this OS. Now, upon receiving the request, the server the server sends a response with the IP address of the chosen server along with the SSL certificate to initiate a secure session. So in IP in that particular IP address, many servers are there. So one of the server was chosen, and one of that server is chosen, and it will create a SSL request certificate to initiate a secure session. So finally, this chosen server sends all the files, HTML, CSS, JavaScript, Bootstrap classes, whatever the things are there. These servers will send to the OS, and this OS again send it back to the browser. Now browser render all those things. So this is happening behind the scenes within milli of seconds. If we are writing tutorial point.com, so this is the beauty of internet. This is happening behind the scene. So that's all.